meeting to order and ask everyone to stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I forgot my cheat sheet with my statement on it, so we'll go right to roll call.
Mr. Boersma.
Here.
Mr. Galley.
Here.
Mr. Loughran.
Here.
Mr. Patel.
Here.
Mr. Ritchie.
Here.
Chairman Savadat.
Here.
Ms. Tully here.
All present and accounted for. Next item is item D, review of the agenda. Does anyone have any additions, deletions, revisions, or can we move this forward as presented?
I move that we approve the agenda as presented. Support.
All in favor of approving the agenda as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no one. Next item is item E for public comment for items not on tonight's agenda. Is there anyone in the audience with any comments related to an item not on tonight's agenda? Seeing no one, we move on to item F, public hearings. There are no public hearings on tonight's agenda, so we're at item G already. We're cooking with gas. Item G1 is PC file number 2022-001. Petitioner is VNR Building Company LLC, 59010 Mound Road, Washington Township, Michigan. The address of the parcel in question is 6898 Sashaba Road. Parcel number 0822401001, zoned OS2, Office Service 2, also in the Sashaba Road Town Center Overlay District. And the petitioner is requesting final site plan approval for a proposed sit-down restaurant at the former Ruby Tuesdays location. It's known as Art and Jake's. And Mr. Carlisle, welcome this evening.
Oh, no sound.
One sec, Dick, we can't hear you.
I'm just sign language.
He can hear us.
How's that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Good.
thank you.
It's all yours.
Okay, thank you. For some reason, I've just been linked on the chat, but all right. Anyway, as long as you can hear me, that's all that's important. The plan has been revised, substantially to our satisfaction. As you will note, the southerly addition has been removed from the plan, thereby not requiring a variance from the Board of Appeals. Other variances have been granted, however. There are some minor items associated with the lighting plan, primarily is because the legibility of the plan made it difficult to determine if lighting requirements have been met. We believe that this can be done as a condition of your final approval. I don't think these are major items, but it's just a matter of clarification that ordinance requirements are met. The same thing is with the sign plan. I think it's just mostly calculations that we need to get refined, and again, it's partly again whether the issue is whether these calculations are exactly what they are shown on the plan. But I will say that one issue that the Planning Commission will need to deal with is what appears to be an electronic sign, which cannot exceed 25%, we know, of the sign area. So from the standpoint of that, I think there may need to be revised site plans, but perhaps the applicant can address that tonight. And then just a minor issue regarding meeting the community features provisions of the ordinance. They're using, they actually have done a nice job of that by using the decorative, by maintaining the decorative lighting, by providing a sidewalk connection, by providing a pad for bicycle parking. However, they've added benches that are really not going to be usable by anybody but their customers, which is fine. However, I think at least one of those benches should be moved out by the bike rack so that we have a seating area out there. Other than that, we felt that they did a very good job doing, revising these plans, and we're recommending final approval subject to these comments. I will say there are still some coordination issues that need to be achieved with the applicant to the south. Prior to that plan coming before you, those things will be resolved. But other than that, I'm pleased with the plans.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Carlisle? Go ahead, Tim.
Dick, the elevations, I know we had a couple comments to the elevations. Do you know if they addressed all of our comments from a previous review?
Well, I think one of the primary concerns was the south wall, was it not?
Yeah, that's
And
what I was thinking.
Yeah, what they've done is add, additional landscaping in that area. But the other key thing is the fact that unfortunately, we were unable to have both these site plans come before you. Where the surgical center is going to be located, it's probably going to block the view from the northbound traffic of the majority of the side of the building. So the only thing you're really going to see is that front addition on there. The rest of it's going to be pretty much blocked by the building location of the surgery center. But they have both they've added landscaping, and then what you'll also see is on the surgical center, there is going to be a seating area that's going to have landscaping around it also. So pretty much the south elevation will be either screened by landscaping or it won't even be seen.
Was it?
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it looked like they did a little bit. I think they might have wrapped around some of that, brick or block. So I was just asking the question. It looks like they did something. I couldn't tell. Doesn't look as objectionable as it did before, so that's why I was asking the question.
Okay, and I do, there has been some foundation landscaping added there too. And the other factors that I mentioned.
Any other questions
For Carla?
for Mr. Carlisle?
No.
Okay. I invite the petitioner to come to the podium, and if we missed anything in our presentation, now's your chance to augment it.
Yeah, good evening. My name's Joel Bodway. I'm with Community Engineering. We're the civil engineer and landscape architecture consultants for Art and Jakes. The owner is here as well, Victor, who you're all familiar with. I think Mr. Carlisle, pretty much summed up, a lot of the issues that were brought to our attention. I guess the only highlight, is we have no problem bringing a bench out to that green belt. We will definitely accommodate that. I think in regards to the signage concern, we have no problem reducing the sign display to meet the ordinance. I think it's over by 0.6 square feet. Just reducing it by a couple of inches or an inch each way, kind of takes care of that. So when we submit our thought process is to, if we are granted site plan approval tonight, is to issue all of those sign changes as part of the sign package, like a separate submittal. And you will notice in the site package, we have gone down to, I think we had 4 wall signs. We are now down to 3 wall signs. That all meets the ordinance intent. In regards to the lighting plan, we have no problems. I have already kind of gathered and compiled all of that information. I apologize that that wasn't clear on the site plan, the site plan package that was submitted, but we do have cut sheets that we're happy to, submit to the township. In regards to the sidewalk connection, I think Mr. Carlisle did touch on that. We've coordinated, multiple times with the surgical center to the south. We've revised the sidewalk connection that's along the west, that new addition that's facing Sashabaw. We have adjusted our walk connection to work with their outdoor seating area. We have also, discussed how we were going to handle that walk connection out to the Sashabaw Road pathway. Knowing that they are two separate parcels, ideally having one that connects with that existing walking path that's on the south side of our property, and on the north side of the surgical center would be ideal. Unfortunately, there's an 8-foot drop that goes from the Sashabaw pathway all the way down to the parking area. So to be able to get a pathway to work there, there'd be quite a few switchbacks to make it ADA accessible to the site. So, the two engineers, the surgical center engineer and ourselves, opted to have a walkway on the surgical center as far south as possible, and then for us, up by the north end of our site. You'll see that kind of curved pathway down. So it's a logical connection into the front of our establishment, and then there's a logical connection to the front of the surgical center as well. So that is something that, we definitely wanted to work and make it, seamless between the two properties. In regards to the lighting plan, you will notice, I think I did speak with the engineer actually this morning for the surgical center, and I think they're planning on submitting their revised final site plan, I think even tomorrow. What they have done is they have matched their lighting scheme to match our light poles that we had specified. So there's going to be that continuity between the two sites. So we've done as much, kind of coordination as we possibly can, and we want both sites to be, kind of seamless as this goes along. And I think, Mr. Carlisle, you had mentioned that having the light poles, trying to keep those on the building side. We do have some existing ornamental light poles on that right now, but where the building addition is going, it's kind of going right up against where those existing poles are. So we have to remove those to get the best light. We don't have a lot of green space to be able to put those, and the occasional car coming down there that might jump the curb. We wanted to make sure that we put those safely on the other side of the drive. So that's why they're located on the west side of the drive. As you go down towards the hotel, they actually have those ornamental light poles on the west side of that driveway as well. So the surgical center is matching and mirroring, what we have kind of started in our process. So you'll see that coming through shortly. As Mr. Kyle, I was surprised not to see him on the agenda. So I think it's, we've definitely worked and coordinated together.
Great.
And then as far as the landscaping issue, I think Mr. Carlisle spoke eloquently about that. The surgical center, it's almost in line with where our proposed addition is. And it's as tall as the existing Ruby Tuesdays, kind of the building and the proposed Art and Jake's facade. So a majority of that area is going to be, screened just by the height of that building. So we did do landscaping, in all the points, knowing where the building was going to be. We did add landscaping, anything that was going to be visible as you're driving down Sashabaw Road, or if you're in the rear parking lot, we wanted to screen. We have some evergreen plantings, going around the transformer. That's kind of that L shape on the landscape plan there. So, but other than that, I think those were the main items. that were on there, and I'm happy to address any other questions or concerns. We're just happy to be part of the community, and you know, I think it'll be a nice addition to all the existing buildings down there.
Not a question, just a comment. Kudos to you and your clients for working with the neighbors to the south to make the developments more integrated. That's awesome. You had a question?
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to go back to the ground sign, the
Yes.
monument sign.
Mhm.
Is that gonna be electronic informational sign?
Correct.
Okay, and are you aware that there's all kinds of rules and regulations that go along with the electronic sign?
With that, there was Mr. Carlisle mentioned that in his review letter. Yeah.
I guess I'd like to see on your updated plans or anything that you send in going forward, that you're acknowledging that those, you know, that you understand those regulations and everything
Yep.
too, because not only, you know, we talked about the size of your sign and
Mhm.
the size of the electronic lettering and everything, that's all regulated in the ordinance as well.
Yep.
But also, you know, the colors, the messaging, the change, you know, the time you can change it and all that type of stuff are all regulated, so.
Yeah, and I think, you know, what Victor would like to express is that, you know, any and all of those ordinance regulations, just like anything else that we've gone through, you know, happy to oblige and go with those
Okay, well, I just
regulations.
I think our regulations are different than other communities, so I just
Yep.
want to make sure that you're aware of those and that.
Well, Art and Jake's is you know, it's not just one of those chain restaurants. It's you know, even though they do have several locations, it's every site is different, and everyone is treated as its own unique piece.
All right, and I like the changes you made and everything as well, so I think it's going to be a good addition to the community. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Any questions?
I only have a question on one of the materials on the building. The tile that's gonna be applied, what kind of tile? Is it porcelain, color all the way through, glazed?
We haven't totally spec'd that out yet, but it's an outdoor tile that's gonna be for outdoor tile, it's gonna be in the bigger size of it. But yes, it should be it's typically portioned for outdoor, but it's gonna be specific for outdoor, yes.
Okay.
It's funny that you ask about that. We had a meeting about that today with our contract. We gotta pick that one out, but yes, it's specific for that.
Yeah, at first glance, I thought it might have been insulated metal panel, but, when I zoomed in and saw that it was tile, gotta pay real close attention to those details to make sure that it can handle the winter.
Right.
And also, weaving systems for getting rid of moisture in the walls and everything else. Otherwise, you end up with a rotten building.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
Is that it? Go ahead.
I'm new here, so pardon the stupid question, but somewhere in here I was reading about the grease, and the grease going into the existing plumbing. But you guys filter that, right? I mean, that just.
Yeah.
Grease
and
traps.
It's basically it's a grease trap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a comment on the Noack and Frost letter, and that is when we go in for our construction engineering review. That's they've requested an additional detail for that. You know, but basically it's the sanitary for the building. You know, like everything kind of gets put into one pipe, but that's where it separates everything out before it goes into the sanitary system, and then that gets cleaned out and lumped out.
Yeah,
Joe,
there's the grease
we
trap
also
right
spec'd
there.
it out today, and we actually emailed it over to the building department.
Oh, good.
Yeah, read the plumbers, about that.
So, yeah, we're
That's
on top of
basically
it.
like a septic tank with
It's
that trap,
actually,
wasn't it?
it's actually us right here.
Oh, perfect, yeah.
So we actually already emailed it over to, building inspector.
So
Oh,
earlier
okay.
this afternoon.
it'll
I guess
it'll end
that-
up on my plans,
Yeah.
you know, for the next submittal.
I guess that brings up one more. Your used oil, are you gonna have a service pick that up, or are you gonna store it on site somewhere in a
So,
grease bin?
This grease inceptor is actually that separates the water and the grease, goes in the ground. So on the outside, we're gonna have a tank on the outside.
That's not what I'm asking. Your used grease, when you change out your grease, are you gonna have a service pump it out and take it away, or are you gonna
Yes,
store it on site?
Right, that's what I was gonna tell you. It's gonna be a tank that stores on site, and then they pump it out and they take it
Okay.
away. We're not gonna have an external one that's over by dumpster. We're gonna have actually a tank that's enclosed.
Okay, so where's that going to be?
On the side by the on the outside of the building. It's internal, it feeds from
Oh.
the inside, you feed it
Oh,
from
so
the
you-
inside and it then from the
Your
external
used,
goes
your
out.
used oil tank's gonna be on the inside of the building?
Yes.
With a pump thing to the
It
out.
just
Well,
tucks
they'll
out, yeah.
connect it and pump it out with the service.
Yes. And it's the, company called Darpro that we use for that. It's a nationwide company.
Our questions are cutting edge, happening real time here as this gets developed. This is
Well,
great.
like I said, we discussed some of those today, so.
Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
Did you have more
no,
questions?
I just had visions of that
One.
big grease berg that they described in Clinton Township or in.
For that outside, thing you're talking about
Yeah.
fryers, yeah, we're not doing that.
No.
Yeah, we're not doing that, no. No, it actually, it's a pump from inside, comes through the fryers, you hook it up, boom, it goes in the tank, and off it goes. Yeah.
Questions?
My comment is, I think they've done this before.
Heard these questions before.
Yeah, you are a polished bunch, and that's, I mean that in a complimentary way. You've done this before, and including the owners. This isn't your first time in front of a microphone. It's for, you're pros. I think this is a great project. I think it's a great repurposing of a really, really tired building that I drive by all the time and can't wait for it to get redeveloped, so. And it, just from, your business obviously, but I'm just thinking of before and after concerts, before and after high school football games, Lions games, this is Red Wings game. This is a great location right here, so good for you.
May I ask a question?
Yeah,
So, one of the managers we did hire used to work there, so he knows the crowd, he knows the concerts, but he said there was, is it through the planning commission, or is it through the building department? Huh?
It was through the police, he said.
The police- Do they block off the roads in front there, the police department, when there's concerts up and down? Like, he said they were blocking off his driveway and he had an issue with that. Is that something, but I think it went through you guys?
That's it.
They just regulate, but they don't block off driveways? Okay.
Yeah, they shouldn't be
So
doing
if it's
that.
a big concert, sometimes beforehand, they'll block the north or southbound lane to get more traffic up, and after the concert, same thing. They'll,
But they won't block off driveways?
I've never seen them specifically block a
He had a
driveway.
complaint on that, he said to address it. You guys on that. Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
yes, Mr. Carlisle.
I'd like to just add a little, personal note here. We represent Macomb Township, and I happened to be out there about 3 weeks ago, meeting with our client, and when it was time to go to lunch, he said, well, do you want to go to lunch? And I said, sure. He said, where do you want? I said, you choose. He said, well, let's go to Art and Jake's. So I had the opportunity to eat at their Art and Jake's restaurant in the Macomb Township, and I will tell you that your comments about the professionalism of their presentation is reflected in the restaurant also itself in terms of the food and the service. I think the commission is going to be very pleased with this operation. The outside looked good, the inside looked good, and the food was good, and it was a nice experience.
Thank you, Mr. Carlisle.
Fantastic. I look forward to being a customer here.
Thank you.
Do we want to ask if any other consultants want to speak?
Yeah,
to
I should have asked Mr. Longhurst if you had anything to add, but now's your chance.
Now's my chance,
Yeah.
all right. No, we didn't have much in our letter. Most of the recommendations we had there were all things just point out to addressing the construction drawings. So from a final site plan point, it was encouraging the coordination with the neighbors and working out through grading details. So not a lot there.
Great, thank you. We ready for some action here?
I'll make a motion on
Yep.
PC file 2022-001, parcel 08-22-401-001, 6898 Sashaball Road, that we give final site plan approval for the sit-down restaurant at the former Ruby Tuesdays location. That includes the comments of the consultants tonight, as well as the planning commission on the subjects of the lighting plan, the community feature, bench movement, and the electronic sign acknowledgement, and the wall sign reconfiguration to meet the ordinances.
Support.
We have a motion and a support. Is any discussion on the motion? Yes.
So what happens to the sign plan? Does it come back to the building department? Is that how that works?
Planning and zoning approves the sign package.
Okay,
Basically, just administratively we approved it, it's just,
You
you're gonna make
approved
sure
it,
it fits
but-
within the ordinance, right?
Correct.
So,
And then it meets the intent of the approval in the right locations.
okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? Can we have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Boersma?
Yes.
Mr. Galley?
Yes.
Mr. Lockron?
Yes.
Mr. Patel?
Yes.
Mr. Ritchie?
yes,
Chairman Savada?
Yes.
Ms. Tully, yes.
Congratulations, you have final site plan approval.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you very much.
Nice job.
when are you guys gonna be open?
July 1st.
July 1st, there you go,
On my birthday.
there you go. We'll be there.
Thank you. You have a special invite.
That's awesome. We move on to item H, approval of minutes for the regular meeting minutes of March 10th, 2022. Motion to approve, or any revisions proposed?
I move for approval of the planning commission meeting minutes of March 10th, 2022.
Second.
Was that Mr. Borsma who
was
seconded
me.
it? Mr. Ritchie who seconded it? We might as well do a roll call vote. I forget if we had absences. That mean, do we have absences?
I believe everyone was here.
Everyone's here, okay. All in favor of approving the minutes as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Hearing no one. Move on to consultants' reports. Mr. Carlisle.
Just real briefly, next Thursday, we're launching the master plan, process with a joint workshop. I think we're gonna find it, I hope you're gonna find it interesting. But more importantly, I think Brian has ordered some pretty good food.
Yeah, make sure you turn these in tonight, that way we've got them.
For anyone watching online or watching at home, it'll be Thursday, the April 21st at 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
here. Excellent. Any discussion?
Is there anything we should do to prepare?
No,
Could always read the old
You- you-
report.
Come with an open mind.
no, it's going to be, it's going to have a fairly brief presentation associated with it, but then we're going to have two participation exercises that we're going to ask the board and the planning commission to go through. And so no, I have no I have no doubt that our commission will be able to do this without any advanced preparation. So I'm looking forward to it.
Do you want us to be here by 6, or do you want us to be here early for the food, or what are you thinking?
We're just gonna serve the food, right at the beginning, so yeah, if you wanna come early, we'll certainly get you your
Okay.
food early. We're planning to
Yeah.
have the food here about 5:45.
Excellent. Any other questions, comments? Well, with that, is that a motion to, anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn?
Support?
Support, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, hearing no one. 6:59 PM, adjourned.
Goodbye.
Nice job, everyone.
Thank you for that.